Hi everybody, it's me, it's Matt. I'm sure you have a lot of questions as to where the hell I've been over the past few days. And, you know, I'm dedicating this video to answering any questions that you may have, as well as giving a few updates as to how things are going to be going forward. I don't really know what editing Matt is going to put in the background of this because I don't really want it to be, you know, just a blank screen. I want there to be something to watch. So, hopefully he'll figure that out after this is done. So, before we delve into things, I want to say thanks to the people who got me up to 2,000 subscribers recently. Know that I do have something planned to mark the occasion, but that's not going to be discussed in this video, because that's going to need to be its own separate thing. Just know that you're going to hear about it at some point. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Thank you for getting me to 2,000, and you'll see what I have in store soon regarding that. Anyway, to get into the real sort of question that people probably have is, where have I been over the past few weeks? Well, funny story that a lot of real life stuff has been sort of piling up over the past few weeks. My room slash workspace needed basically an overhaul of its space because, let me tell you, my bed in particular was a death trap. Part of it collapsed, and I was wondering, how the hell have I been sleeping on this for goodness knows how long? So, yeah, the whole space has had to be redone. I needed to have a new bed moved in, and a bunch of shuffling of my, things and possessions. And even now, it's still not completed, but, you know, for the most part, I am more or less resituated. So, disruption should hopefully be minimal from this point on. But, yeah, it kind of goes without saying that the damage has been done, and I've not really uploaded as much as I really would have liked because of all of those disruptions. And goodness knows how I need to get back on track. I definitely have a lot still to give, especially going into the second half of 2025. But, yeah, I'm gonna need to push a lot of it forward, and I'm especially gonna need to shuffle around various pieces of content. And by that I mean I need to shuffle around the order in which they appear, and some of them might even need to be scrapped or moved from this year's schedule. Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't really see it being completely feasible with the time I have left. So, I might as well give off some examples of, you know, things that are going to be changing or things that will be brought up that I probably said I would do at some point. And I think the major player in this is Fallout New Vegas. Now, I did say that I'd make that part of 2025's schedule, but considering how everything has sort of been delayed and schedule rot has seeped in, I don't really have much choice other than to move that into the 2026 schedule instead. It absolutely sucks. No ifs, ands, or buts. But considering all the other playthroughs that I need to get done this year, if any one of them was to get shifted, I would at least prefer it to be New Vegas, because I'd imagine that would be the lengthiest of the lot. 2026 is definitely when I'm going to get around to it at some point, so, you know, it's not completely gone, you know what I'm saying? It just needs to be moved for my sake and to make sure that I can actually have, well, a feasible 2025 schedule from here on out. As far as everything else is concerned, the Half-Life playthrough should be reaching its end. I think I'm at the final area, if memory serves, so I should be able to get that done in a single part and then wrap up the main loop of Half-Life. I do want to get around to Blue Shift and Opposing Force at some point in the future, but I don't know if those are going to be 2025 per se, because I don't really know how long they are and whether or not I can squeeze each of those into a single video, you know what I'm saying? Or at least a single video per part, because ideally, what I would want is to put Blue Shift into one video and Opposing Force into another. But I don't know if that's completely feasible. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. As far as other playthroughs that are pending, I am still going to go through with Mario and Luigi Brothership, which is hopefully going to be the next one after Half-Life wraps up. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, that's still on the cards, so hopefully that will be going ahead as planned. I still plan on doing the Banjo-Kazooie playthrough, but I need to basically reevaluate how to approach it due to a few behind-the-scenes problems and all that. It's nothing major, like, I still feel like I can get it done, but it's basically gonna need a little bit of extra tinkering behind the scenes. So, unless you hear otherwise, that one should still be going ahead, and hopefully everything goes off as planned. I still have a few other things in the tank as well. I have at least one Smash video coming up soon. I have at least one Risk of Rain 2 challenge in the works, and given that there was a third DLC announcement recently, I mean, you know that I'm going to be covering that at some point. That's very interesting and intriguing stuff. I have a few Binding of Isaac runs still to publish. I have a bunch of crazy happenings in there. I also have plenty more ideas for Risk of Rain 2 and Payday 2 challenge runs as well, so, you know, look forward to those real soon as well. And, yeah, that's really all there is to say about ones that I can actually name. There's definitely going to be a few more spur-of-the-moment things, and there's even something throughout the month of October that I'm going to try and trial. We'll see how that goes, but more on that when we actually get there. For the time being, we're just sort of getting through the middle of the year. So, yeah, the real purpose of this video was just to provide some updates, you know, just to reassure you that things are still gonna go ahead as planned. By now the friendly is done, and I'll be ready to get back on track for the most part. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's not been a great year for me for this channel, considering the content roadmap has sort of been all over the place. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the amiibo stuff, you know, as much as it rakes in the views, I feel like it also contributes the most towards crunch. And that's kind of why I wanted to phase it out, you know, not so much get rid of it completely, but just phase out the training side of things. Because that stuff gets views, but it also crunches me to hell and back. So, you know, by cutting those out of the equation next year, then hopefully things won't be as bad. It'll allow me to be more organized, and it will allow me to get more variety content on the channel. Which, you know, that's the main goal. There's also the fact that there's a bunch of, you know, other behind-the-scenes stuff, Discord being as it is, and, you know, rumblings that, you know, we'd need to move the Matt community again. Which, I hope it doesn't come to that, but if it has to come to that, then I don't know. Then we'll call to arms and work out how best to approach that. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, you know, I'll be playing catch-up. I have to basically concede that I'm going to be crunched for another year, but at the very least, this time around, it should be the last time for a while. Because the major contributor to crunch is going to be phased out next year, and things should be a lot smoother going forward. As for the rest of this year's content, I'll hopefully try and get out what I can, and make it be as smooth an experience as possible. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that too. So thank you for joining me on this update video. I know it's not exactly been the smoothest of rides so far, but we're gonna try and pick up the pace as far as things go moving forward. So thank you for joining me. Throw us a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on whatever I do next. Take care now.